Good morning. My name is Kathryn, and I will be your chairperson for today's Dharma School service. Are there any visitors or new students and families here this morning? If so, welcome to our temple. Could those of you sitting near them help them find the proper pages for the sutras, gathas, and readings? Thank you. First, we will have Sambujo on page 24 in the big book, followed by Sutra Chanting Juseige on page 23 in the little book, or page 23 in the big book. Now we will have Gatha, Amida's Paradise on page 36 of the small book, followed by the Golden Chain, which is located on page 2 of the little book, or page 15 of the big book under Golden Chain 1. The Promise. I am a link in Amida's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I will keep my link bright and strong. I will be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will think pure and beautiful thoughts, say pure and beautiful words, and do pure and beautiful deeds. May every link in Amida's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain in perfect peace. Namu Amida Butsu.
Namu Amida Butsu.
Namu Amida Butsu.
Namu Amida Butsu.
Namu Amida
Namu
Butsu.
Amida Butsu.
Now we will have a Dharma lesson by Rinban Sakamoto.
Good morning. It's nice to see all of you here in the Hondo this morning and joining us on our YouTube streaming channel. I'd like to begin with a passage from the passages on the Pure Land. This is written by Shinran. And he writes, Shakyamuni teaches, it is the Dharma that for all people in the world is most difficult to accept. Truly we know then that the crucial matter for which the great sage, the world-honored one, appeared in this world was to reveal the truth of the compassionate vow and to declare it the direct teaching of the Tathagatas. Namanda, namandos, namanda, namandos, namanda. Today is a Taikyo. It is a service that is dedicated to reminding us of how important the teachings of the Buddha are, and that we pay special attention to assuring that these teachings can be passed on, that they can be enjoyed not just by ourselves, but also that future generations will be able to hear and enjoy the teachings of the Buddha. Today we kind of focus on the Eitaikyo and how we practice the teachings here, how we hear the teachings of the Buddha, and that as we observe this Eitaikyo service, we think about the people who will come after us, who will be able to enjoy and to hear the Dharma. But we're here and able to enjoy the Dharma because somebody before us observed a taikyo. Someone set aside the resources to build this temple, to write the translations of the sutras, to write down the teachings of the Buddha, who did all of these things someplace in the past that we are now able to enjoy here today. So when we think about a taikyo, sometimes the literal translation is perpetual chanting of sutra, a taikyo. And this idea of being able to continually recite the sutras is this idea of having a place in which we can always come to and to hear the teachings of the Buddha and to share in the Dharma and to share with others what we enjoy in the teachings of the Buddha. So a taikyo, we focus on what we might be able to do in order to provide a place that people can continue to return to and to hear the teachings of the Buddha. And that focus of the future is good. It's important because we kind of value what we do so that others might be able to share in that same importance and value. But we also need to remember that there were people in the past who took the time and made the effort to assure that we were able to hear the teachings of the Buddha. If Buddhism started yesterday, there wouldn't be much of a taikyo. We would be thinking about the future. But even if Buddhism started yesterday, what they did yesterday kind of helps us to enjoy what we are able to enjoy today. So, as we observe today's Eight Taikyo service, and it is one of the special services. We often think of Eight Taikyo as a fundraising activity, and we do have things that we need to do to the Hondo, so that this place can remain, that can be a place that people can gather. We had to replace our furnace and our air conditioning. When was this? It was last week. So the air conditioner and the heater was replaced. Now it's really kind of nice weather. But in a few weeks, it'll start getting cold. And when we come into the Hondo, we'll be able to be in a nice warm place because the heater is working. For a while, only half of the heater was working. And so we were getting only half as much heat into the Hondo. This past week, somebody had a Wednesday open Hondo day. And they came in and they turned the heater on. And when they left, they did not turn the heater off. Oh, was that you? Yeah. So when I came in Wednesday morning for our preschool service, it was very toasty in here. It was very nice. And it was a cold Thursday morning, so it was nice to come into a nice toasty Hondo. But, because of, this Eight Taikyo, people concerned about having a place for us to come to, we had this nice replacing the heater and the air conditioner. And then next year, next summer, when it's Obon time, you'll come into the Hondo and it'll be nice and cool because somebody years ago, what's that? No, not that you didn't turn it off, but that somebody in our past decided that they would set aside funds for the Hondo, things that the Hondo needed. And soon we'll replace tiles that are broken tiles on our roof. And these tiles have to be replaced because they can be very dangerous if they were to slide off. And then it also, of course, protects the roof underneath. But all of these kinds of things that we may not think about, we are reminded at this time of Eight Taikyo that actually we're able to enjoy these things, coming to the Hondo, enjoying the company of one another, enjoying the teachings of the Buddha because of what somebody did, maybe generations ago, brought Jodo Shinshu here, established this temple, set aside the resources to build this hondo, and that we are able to enjoy it today, and that we are now also a part of that history, a part of that that is now preparing for those who will come after us, that they will be able to enjoy a nice, warm, toasty hondo. Today is a Taikyo. We think about all of the benefits that we receive and how we might be able to pass that on to others as well. With gratitude and appreciation, we are mindful of these efforts. And in this passage which I read, it's the most difficult thing. Shakyamuni Buddha is saying it's the most difficult thing to hear the teachings of the Buddha. Not because we physically can't hear it. We may be, like I'm getting hard of hearing, but it's to hear and to bring into our lives what the teachings of the Buddha are. And that we are able to gather together as we do this morning. Because of the time and effort that others have made, allows us to be here, to gather together, to hear the teachings of the Buddha. And as we are mindful of that, we're grateful for what others have done for us, to share with us the teachings of the Buddha. And we simply respond and we say, Namu Amida Butsu, in gratitude and appreciation. Today, at this Taikyo service, we are especially mindful of how the efforts of others allow us to do with what we are able to do today, and that we are dedicated to allowing others to also enjoy and benefit from what we are able to benefit today. Thank you very much. Please join in Gassho. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rinban Sakamoto. Now we will have Gatha farewell on page 45, followed by the promise located on page 5 in the little book and page 15 in the big book.
Dharma school is over for another day. Let us gather round the shrine, bow our heads and say, thank you, teacher, for your help. Thank you, everyone. Buddha's love will keep us safe till our work is done. So we'll meet again next week. Won't you take good care? Let us try to do what's right, always kind and fair. We shall spread the happiness faith in Buddha brings. Now it's time to say goodbye till we meet again. Namu Amida Butsu, sing this fine refrain. Namu Amida Butsu, sunny day or rain. Namu Amida Butsu, strong in faith remain. Namu Amida Butsu, till we meet again.
The promise. We thank the Buddha for showing us the way of freedom. We will endeavor to walk in his noble path every day of our lives. Namu Amida Butsu.
Namu Amida Butsu.
Namu Amida Butsu.
Namu Amida Butsu.
Namu Amida
Namu
Butsu.
Amida Butsu.
Thank you to Rinban Sakamoto, Reverend Mikame, Mr. Jones, Mr. Akizuki, Mrs. Tanabe, and to Organist, Mrs. Tsuchimoto. Are there any announcements?
Good morning. I'm here to inform you about the first ever curry cook-off event that's happening Saturday, November 18th. It's a joint venture being put on by Wesley Methodist and the Betsuin. So there's a flyer in this month's Dharma newsletter. You can sign up. I think it's through Eventbrite. You can also just phone the Wesley office and make your reservations there. Tickets are $30 for adults and $15 for children. And the Betsuin has a team, so there are various teams that are competing, and the Betsuin has one, led by our intrepid leader, Rinban Sakamoto. So Rinban is looking for people to help on the morning of the 18th. We need people to help us cut up vegetables and stuff like that. So if you're interested in doing that, please contact Rinban, or you can contact me. I'm Larry Handa, by the way, but no, contact Rinban. So thank you very much.
On behalf of the FBWA 2024 Conference Planning Committee, I'd like to thank all of you who supported the Panda Express fundraiser that we had this past Friday. And if some of you weren't able to do that, or if you really want Panda again, we will have another fundraiser in the springtime. Thank you.
Good morning. First of all, I have a question, but I'm not going to ask it. Okay, so what's happening is that the Betsuin's having a basic Buddhism class on the 15th and I think the 29th. Those are both Wednesdays. The class is called Buddhism Simply and Clearly. So no jargon, very simple terms, and the whole effort is to make it understandable to as many people as much as possible. If you would like to get it's Zoom, and it's also in person. It's a hybrid. If you would like to do the Zoom part, go to the Betsuin office and ask for the link there. Otherwise, it's 7 p.m. in the Betsuin boardroom. The other thing is that for my class, I need 1 or 2 additional adult volunteers to help me because we're doing a kind of a scavenger hunt activity. So if you are available, please come over to the little chapel when the Dharma school starts. Thank you.
Before everyone leaves the temple, please straighten all the books for the next service. Those of you who are interested are welcome to attend the adult English service following this service, or you are welcome to stop by the open door cafe tent outside in front of the garden. For your safety, please obey the crossing guards and look both ways before crossing the street. Thank you for attending today's service.
Bye-bye. Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you? Gary has his operation on his head.
What?
He has cancer on his head. And they took, skin cancer. So he's got a big hole. So he's having an operation.
It hasn't healed?
They had to take, he has a hole in his head right here. And they're taking
Hi, Jan.
Good, how are you?
Okay.
Andrew had his first little girl.
Oh, it's exciting. So, where is he now?
He's in
Yorba Linda.
Yorba Linda,
Which is by.
Southern California.
Near Disneyland.
Near Disneyland. Yeah.
He's near Disneyland.
So first
That's
time dad.
convenient.
That was last night.
Oh, man.
Oh, come on.
Congratulations.
Oh,
So, this is grandchild number.
five.
Oh, my goodness.
Finally a girl.
Finally a girl.
Oh, is it all been boys?
Andrea had 4
Oh,
boys.
4 boys. Andrew has 4 boys.
Oh, boys.
Four active boys.
Oldest is how old?
11.
11.
The youngest is 2.
My goodness.
They go to the church of BMX.
Yeah, you know, I hear they do a lot of work in that
Oh,
BMX.
they're going to Oklahoma this month.
Oh my goodness.
And they've been to Oklahoma. Then they want to go to North Carolina at the end
They
of the
do a
year.
lot of traveling.
The Arizona, Southern California, Oregon. I don't know, my thought is broke.
But you know, they're spending time together. They're doing things together.
They do.
It's great.
Well, we get the little ones sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not right. They're not big enough yet.
Well, actually, they do ride, but the third one doesn't ride. And the 2-year-old rides. They call it Strider. They don't use pedals.
Oh.
Remember the Flintstones? They put the
Yeah,
feet
yeah,
in just like that. They use their feet to pedal on the ground.
Yeah,
Ah, so
That's great.
so busy.
Yeah.
so busy.
What's the granddaughter's name?
Her
Liv-
name is
Adriana.
Adriana, Audrey for short.
She was named after Audrey Hepburn.
Yeah, so it's Audrey, Rose, Kiyomi, Mason. Yeah,
Big name.
big name for a little person.
How long are you going to be here?
We go back in a couple weeks. Then we come back. Then we go back for 3 months. Then we come back for a month. Then we go back. It depends what's going on and where we want to be.
Yeah.
I never know where
We
we
always
are.
come back around the middle of June for Bon Dance.
Yeah.
That's always, and then when we go back, depends what's going on there. We can't do our Bon Dance because it's always the weekend before this Bon Dance. Saturday. It never changes. So they keep going, you need to come to ours. So I've given them a few ideas that we do at ours, and they're starting to realize they can make more money. And that's, we want to be able to celebrate with the community.
Yeah.
And,
But you
and
also
education, but you also want to bring it
fundraiser.
to
It's a good
fundraiser.
opportunity. Yeah.
You know, and that's what I told them is, what is your primary purpose for the Bon Dance? And then you go with that direction. And it used to be just cultural. Then they started saying, we need a new roof.
They need a new
We
building.
need a new painting. Columbarium is starting to have some serious, and so they've been saving up for that. And it's like here,
Hey, thank you. That's what it's for.
yeah.
Yeah, they did.
We still do a lot of things. We're a slower group.
It's a smaller group, you know. It's,
Yeah.
But we do the Zoom, so they do it every week. We have a nice young minister. Hopefully they have a child. They've been married now for a couple of years. Our minister Tomioka.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully they'll start a family. Hopefully.
well, right now they're in Japan.
Yeah, he's in Japan for a month. I think he saved up.
Well, they're going to visit their families.
Yeah.
She's a accountant. So she does pretty good accounting. So we're going to Japan next year for
So where does she work?
She was a contract employee in Oahu first, from Japan. Sensei said I want to meet a local girl. He met her.
Kind of local.
So she has some contractual obligations before she could leave Oahu. And when she met those, they got married. And now she does. She still works for the company, but she lives remotely. It goes back to Oahu. So it's working. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
So she's picked up clients in Hilo. I think they've settled in nice. They live in a big house. It's like a 6 or 7 bedroom house.
Did they purchase or?
No, it just belongs to the temple. It's right next door to it. It's 2 stories high. Actually, kind of go downstairs. You got 3 stories. It's a big house. back then the ministers, had a lot of kids, I guess. I don't know.
It's like Mountain View. Mountain View's temple, the residence is right next to the temple.
Yeah, that's kind of common in Hawaii. Well, most of the minister residence is right next door to the temple.
But it is a big house. When he was by himself, we always drove by and all the lights are on. He has all the lights on because it was kind of scary. It's such a big house, right?
Yeah.
So anyway,
We like it. Anyway, you guys have to do. Good to see you. Aloha. When you coming to Hawaii? One of these days when you go back. If we're there, you can always come to Hilo for a while. We got a nice house, extra room, car.
since he's got a big house.
The robe kind of gives it away. Good morning. Welcome to this morning's Eitaikyo service. My name is Larry Handa, and I'll be chairing the service today. Let's see. Before we start the program, just reminders. Of course, there's no food or drink in the Hondo, and if you have cell phones, well, I'm sure we all have cell phones, please put them in silent mode or turn them off. Do we have any people who are guests today or new to the temple? No? If so, welcome. And if you need help, there will be people around you who can help you out and get to the right service book. Okay, so we'll start today's service with Sutra chanting Sambujo, which is on page 24 in the large service book. And then we'll follow it by Sutra chanting Junirai, which is on page 20 in the smaller service book, or on page 67 in the large service book. Would you all please rise for Gatha Namu Amida Butsu, which is on page 67 in the smaller Dharma School Service book. After that, please remain standing for the three treasures, which is on page 3 in the small Dharma School Service book.
Please open the page 3 on the small sutra book, Three Treasures. So there's a line saying in the spirit in the third verse. So there's a line saying in the spirit of universal brotherhood. So when you read this, so please replace the brotherhood with the oneness. Okay. Three treasures. How is it to be born into human life? Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One? Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be free from the suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures and the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way of enlightenment, and awaken ourselves the spring will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of doctrine and gaze wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in a true accord in your life and harmony, in a strict universal oneness, free from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages and myriads of kalpas, how is it to hear such an excellent and profound and wonderful doctrine? Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us totally understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Okay, please be seated. Thank you.
Now we'll have a Dharma lesson by Minister's Assistant Dennis Akizuki.
Good morning, everyone. Please join me in Kansho and reciting Nembutsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. So when I have to give a Dharma talk, I put it in my calendar, right? But this morning I forgot to put that it was an Eitaikyo service. So I actually had a different Dharma talk prepared, but I'm going to wing it, and we're going to talk about Eitaikyo, and I'm going to rely on some aid from the internet a little bit about this, so if you excuse me. So Eitaikyo it means like chanting sutras in perpetual memorial to our loved ones, people who've come before us, right? And it's observed by most of the BCA temples, usually held in November. And one other thing to kind of keep on chanting the sutras, right? There's something called a Taikyo Fund. So it's a fund that people here and the members of the Sangha and others, they contribute to this Taikyo Fund. And it's used to basically, for things, repairing things here in the Hondo, one of the purposes, right? And recently, our heating and cooling system kind of broke down, and so we needed to replace it. So this was not, as you can imagine, not a little cost, and so but we have this money in the Taikyo Fund. So we use the money in the Taikyo Fund to pay for that heating and air conditioning. So people, when they come here to hear the teachings, they can feel comfortable, warm in the winter and cool during the summer. And as Rinban pointed out, we had Open Temple Day on Wednesday. If you don't know what Open Temple Day is, we once a month, on the first Wednesday of every month, we open the doors at the temple. Anybody could come in. There are people who kind of here to answer questions, but people can just come in, kind of just look around, take pictures. People kind of sit in kind of quiet reflection. Some people offer incense. But on this particular Wednesday, since the heating was fixed and had a new one, somebody, me, turned the heat on, and somebody, me, forgot to tell somebody turn the heat off. So when Rinban came to do the Lotus preschool service in the morning, the heat was still on, but it was nice and warm. So that was my fault, and I might be getting a bill for that in the mail. But another thing is, you may have noticed, if you pay close attention to the roof of the temple, there are actually some broken tiles on this side and I think on this side. And there was some concern, whether there could be some water damage if it rains. So we got somebody to come out here, and we're going to get some work done on fixing those tiles. And also, as things, when you do those kinds of projects, inevitably, I think other things crop up. So when they come to do that, they're going to see if there's other things that we need to repair on the roof. And again, that's paid through the Taikyo Fund. So within the next month, you might be seeing some large crane-like devices as they go up and check things and to replace the tiles. So you'll see that happening probably within the next few weeks. But Taikyo, I don't know if they had a Taikyo Fund in the 1930s, but remember, that's when members of this Sangha, this congregation, and remember at the time, what were they? They were farm workers mainly, right? Didn't make a whole lot of money. Well, they decided in the 1930s, in a period of very economic hardship, that they wanted to build a new temple. So they pulled their money together, and I think it was something like $30,000, which doesn't seem like a lot of money to us today, but back then, to people who didn't have a lot of money and were trying to support their families, they also decided they were going to donate to building this temple, and it was completed in 1937. So again, I think this is in the spirit of that Taikyo, perpetual chanting of the sutras, but this gives a place where we can chant the sutras and we can get together and we could hear the teachings, which is another purpose in the Taikyo Fund, right? So we kind of owe it to that generation, the first generation of Japanese immigrants who had the foresight and who really gave of themselves and really kind of dug deep into their pockets to fund and to build this. That's the reason why we have this temple, which really is not just, it's a landmark, but it's one of the probably most beautiful buildings in our area, right? And I think people know it. People may not know about Buddhism, but they know about the temple because they see the structure. And it gives us visibility, and I think gives us, again, a place where we can all come and we could all hear the Dharma, share the Dharma, kind of just share each other's company and be safe and be in an environment that we can all just kind of be at peace. And in that same kind of vein, we have embarked on a very ambitious project, just as this project was very ambitious. And the gym, which was built in I think the late 50s, early 60s, that was ambitious. We're embarking on an equally ambitious project to kind of keep the teachings alive, keep the Sangha vibrant. We're going to replace our education building across the street, two-story education building across the street. Not the safest in an earthquake, so we need to do something about it. So we decided we're going to replace it. And we're going to replace it and give a custom home to Lotus Preschool. Lotus Preschool was one of our very important programs. It really brings people to the temple, brings families to the temple, and introduces them to the temple. We have many people, probably dozens, maybe even hundreds of people who've come through the temple, gone to Dharma school, joined the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, other activities through Lotus Preschool. So Lotus Preschool is going to have a really an area that is designed for them, and we're also going to have spaces for Japanese language school and for scout meetings and other community events. We'll have another multi-purpose room and a conference room which will be available for use for the community. So again, I think this is in that very that kind of keeping with Eitaikyo, right? We're trying to do things that pay homage and to remember people who have gone before us. And the people who have gone before us, they sacrificed and they gave and they planned and they thought enough to build these buildings. And it's kind of like our turn to kind of do the same thing, to try to have some vision, and then dig deep again into our pockets and to fund something like the Dharma Center. The Dharma Center is what we're calling that center across the street, because it is a place where we're going to hopefully share the Dharma, not just in talking about the Dharma, but in the spirit of the Dharma and sharing the teachings of Buddhism, right? So because hearing the teachings and putting them into practice in our everyday lives, I think, are really important, because that's the important thing. It's not only hearing the teachings, it's putting the teachings into effect, practicing them in our daily lives. And I think Eitaikyo is one thing. Eitaikyo Fund is one way to kind of like live that, is to contribute to something that keeps the temple going. And it's just like I said, from the earliest times, we have to remember people who came here, Japanese immigrants who came here in the late 1800s, and this temple was founded in 1902. Founded in a time which was not very welcoming to people, Japanese people, and especially Japanese Buddhists, and which is why we have, somebody asked during Open Temple Day, why do you call it a church? There are no churches in Japan that are Buddhist, right? The only place you'll find a church in Jodo Shinshu is in the United States. And why? Because they wanted to fit in. This is a reaction to the hostility that was around. So we called our temples churches. We installed pews. We got an organ. So those are kind of the things that we tried to do to fit in. We had and when we built we renovated the annex, this came up, right? We had no real sign saying this is the Buddhist church. Maybe the one sign on the corner of the office, but not very visible. So now we have a sign on top of to the entrance of the annex building, which announces what it is. And I think we're going to have similarly in the new Dharma Center something assigned there. So I think times have changed, but in some ways times remain the same. But we have to kind of be kind of recognize what's happened in the past, what's going on in the present. And again, this is Eitaikyo, and this is my off-the-cuff Eitaikyo talk, and I hope you got something out of it. Thank you for coming, and thank you for listening. And I actually have to talk next week, too. So I have something already planned for next week if you come. So, and then I actually have to talk at the Dharma School service the following week. So I have to give 3 talks in a row. I don't know how I was so lucky, but if you want to come and see what I do for the Dharma School service, come to see for the Dharma School service. I'll be really kind of trying to think about what to do for that one, too. Oh, but it's Eishini Kakushini, right? I think service. So maybe I have a subject for that one, too. So thank you again for coming. Please join me in Gassho and Seinen Nembutsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu.
Thank you, Dennis. Wow, that's his off-the-cuff speech. Can you imagine how good that would have been if he'd actually planned it out and stuff? Actually, I don't think it could have been any better, so thank you, Dennis. That's why he's our voice of Obon at this temple. I mean, just, wow. Wish I could do that. Anyway, we'll have Gatha Ondokusan II now, which is on page 76 in the small Dharma School service book.
Kansho. Namu Amida Butsu. 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 Please be seated.
Thank you to Rinban Sakamoto, Reverend Mikame, Minister Assistants Dennis Akizuki and Michael Jones, and to Organist Colleen Tsuchimoto, and on our tech support, Kevin Kitagawa. Are there any announcements? Yes.
On behalf of the FBWA 2024 Conference Planning Committee, I'd like to thank all of you who supported our Panda Express fundraiser that we had this past Friday. Thank you very much for doing that. And if you missed that opportunity or you want to eat panda again, we will have another fundraiser in the spring of 2024. Thank you.
Thank you, Phyllis. Another announcement, there is going to be the first ever Japantown Curry Cook-Off event taking place in 2 weeks, I guess, Saturday, November 18th. It is being jointly sponsored by Wesley Methodist and us. So it's $30 for adults, $15 for children. They are recruiting, they've been trying to recruit teams to compete against each other. So there'll be a team from Nikkei Matsuri, there'll be a team from Wesley, and I don't know who else. But we have a team from the Betsuin, which we're just forming now. We're a little late on this. So this is going to be led by, if you don't know, we have a great cook here within the temple, and that's Rinban Sakamoto. For those of us who have had junior YBA students over the past 15, 20 years, there are various sleepovers and retreats that take place for the cabinet members and junior YBA to take part in. And on many occasions, since I was a junior YBA advisor, we'd have to sleep over. And I remember one where I think we slept over at the Monterey Temple. I got to sleep on a pew or on the floor there overnight along with all the kids. And Rinban made breakfast, I believe, the next morning, and it was awesome. So anyway, we have a team that's going to compete in this event, and Rinban's going to lead us in this, but we need some help. So for this event, each team is having to make like 16 quarts of curry. So that's a lot. But the main thing we need help with, I believe, is just cutting up vegetables. So that morning, Saturday morning, we're going to meet in the kitchen here. Next week, I'll have a time, because right now I don't know what time that is. But if you're able to come help us, contact Rinban, or you can contact me, and we'll get that going. So hopefully that'll be fun. This is the first ever event. They're going to have celebrity judges, and entertainment. There's 3 different entertainment acts. I think there's a halal doing some Hawaiian dancing, and I think Wesley Jazz and Wesley Ooks, I think, are performing. So if you have the time available, please enroll. To do this, there's an advertisement in the Dharma newsletter, or you can just call the Wesley church office for those of you who aren't comfortable doing Eventbrite type registration. Okay? And no other announcements? Thank you all for coming to today's service or attending online through our YouTube channel. And we'll end with a closing gassho from someone.
Please join me in gassho. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida. Thank you.
And you're welcome to come forward for Oshoko. Thank you very much. So I'll announce it again next Sunday. And 10 o'clock? 10 o'clock. Okay. So we'll supply everything, right? We will have the knife and the cutting board. We just have to.
Can you tell us the technique?
Oh, wow. That's great. Thank you very much. Hi, students. How are you?
Well, we'll see. We'll see if it becomes curry. Yeah. Good morning.
You alive?
Hi, Gatha. Good morning. Morning. Good morning. We'll see. We'll see. Good morning. Good to see you.
Good to see. Hey, I didn't know you. Well, curry. That's popular in Hawaii, right? That'll be good.
We'll see.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, good. So,
Good morning. Good.
Curry chef. I know my girls are like, did you sign up? Those two can come help too. Thank you.
Morning.